Time to do another AI video. Actually, it's past due, which I usually say because things are happening so fast in that arena. Um, but I'm I'm having trouble with my clipchamp accessibility. I hate when they change things because it used to be quite intuitive, but now it's not letting me independently pick which windows I want to share because I do want to show you some clips of YouTube videos and such, but I might just have to show you the audio. I'm going to try to stop the recording when I get to that point and share my screen, um, since I can't apparently choose screen and camera at the same time, although I used to be able to, so that's frustrating, but we'll see. But if I only even just the audio alone should be self-explanatory enough if I'm unable to share the screen. Um, but I haven't recorded for a while. I have a lot in the hopper though, and my recent video that I did was Convos with Kim, all about the subject of free will, which was really intriguing. And I also did one before that where I talked about how you can share your product or service on my YouTube channel. And I explained all about that. So take a look at that video if you want to know more about it. Um, and it would cost you $20, and I would make sure that the video with your blurb on it gets at least 100 views. So if however many videos that takes, because some of my videos don't get that many, but I would be sure to share it on more than one video if that was the case until it did get up to at least 100. And then after that, if you wanted to share again later on or whatever, it would be the same, and the same price. So that's just something I'm working on now to getting started. And I also talked about the whole medical system on that same video, just some things I'm not really happy with and wish would change and improve, like the all or nothing approach that I was confronted with my parents when they went into hospice and palliative care. I think I might have said geriatric on the that video instead of palliative, which that is different, but it focuses more on the quality of life and how I had to choose either one or the other instead of a more in between approach, which is what I would prefer. So we kind of talked about that kind of thing. You never know what you're going to get on my channel. I kind of cover everything and whatever interests me. And On the free will video, it was kind of interesting because my sister mentioned Ozempic, I think it's called, which is this really popular weight loss pill now that a lot of people are taking. And she was saying how you can't, uh, they can't take it long term because of side effects or whatever. But related to that, I just recently, since this video is about AI, there's kind of an integration there because they recently discovered, with the help of AI, how to make this peptide. Stanford, I think, was the university that did this, but it has the same results as this Ozempic, but without the side effects. So that's just one example of, and that's just getting to be more and more common where you're starting to hear these things, which I'm going to cover more of in this video, just the latest fascinating things that AI is doing in the everyday world. Um, in the medical, another medically related one was this guy was having seizures that went undiagnosed for 3 months. He went to several doctors, but they were unable to um, tell him what the issue was. But finally, a doctor told him that it was, what did he say, like mild melanoma or something like that. And And so then this guy put all of his blood work into Claude 3.5 or 3.7, I think it was, and it told him instantly what the same diagnosis that this doctor was finally able to pinpoint. So the AI was able to tell him instantaneously instead of going to multiple doctors and wasting 3 months, because in a case like that, sometimes 3 months can mean all the difference between how effectively they're able to treat you or whatever. And so, I mean, I'm sure eventually all doctors, if they want to stay like relevant and um, working, they'll have to adopt this AI. And I'm sure a lot of them will do that gladly because they'll just realize how much more efficient that makes them. And this guy just did this independently. But soon the doctor's office themselves will just know to plug it into the AI right away to speed up these processes and diagnoses and things like that. And so that's pretty exciting. Um, and so the I mentioned AI scientist in a previous AI video, and it recently released its first paper, which was peer reviewed. And this AI scientist is open source, by the way, so anybody has access to it. And the paper was on how this AI could improve itself. And so it was peer reviewed by people, just like any scientific paper would be, and it got a good rating and everything. I mean, it wasn't perfect. And so, just like any paper that's human, a lot of those I'm sure are less than perfect, but it did a really good job for its very first one, and it only gets better from here. And so that's just really cool to think about how it can start doing innovative things and making like new discoveries and stuff like that. And in the last video, I talked about this Sesame, where now you can just go to sesame.com. And at first, when I tried it, it wasn't very accessible, but I tried it a few days ago and I was able to get it going with no problem. You can talk to either Maya or Miles on there. And the first time, you have to grant permission to to use your microphone and whatnot. So I had to poke around a little bit to figure that out. But once I got it going, now it's pretty intuitive. So I just wanted to tell you blind people that if you had tried it before and had difficulty, try it again, because it worked a lot better for me this last time. So it's just really cool that we have all this at our disposal and can talk to these AI agents and things voice to voice, and they're like becoming so much more emotional intelligent, quote unquote. And so the big thing, it was big a week or so ago, but now it's there's already so many other things. But this new agentic model called Manus, I think it's Manus, and there's an open source version of it now too, but that isn't as good. So for the actual version, you need an invite code, and I don't know what the criteria is, like who these invite codes are granted to or whatever. But and you can only do like five. Uh, the number of queries or whatever that you can do per day is limited, at least right now. And I'm not sure about the cost or whatever. But I'm going to show you a clip about just some of the things that it is able to do, because it's pretty wild. And soon we'll just have custom made apps that do only what we want. Because I mean, like right now, there's so like Clipchamp, for example, is a good one that it does a lot of things that I don't want right now or I'm not interested in, but it just kind of clogs up the app for me because I prefer things that are simple to navigate around, and instead of trying to figure out a lot of stuff that I don't find relevant or that I will probably never use or whatever. And it's just really exciting to think that soon we'll just be able to tell our AI make me a video editor that has only these features or whatever, and it will just do it. And that will apply to everything. And where we can just bypass the complicated stuff and go right to what we find to be most useful. Um, and Or you will just tell it like, here's the video I recorded, please cut out or trim minutes 10 to 14 or whatever, and we can just talk to it and tell it what we want instead of having to finagle the keyboard shortcuts and stuff, which sometimes aren't as intuitive as using a mouse would be and all that. And so so one of the videos I listened to recently was pretty interesting, all about how are we going to control these AI models that are going to be so much more intelligent than we are in the very near future. Um, but we already do control like big machines that are way more powerful than us, like these people that navigate these big bulldozers or just farm machinery or anything. So in the physical realm, it's possible, but when you're talking about intelligence, it's kind of a whole new ball game. But um, in the AI arena, they're already using like smaller models now to control the bigger ones, which I talked about a little bit last time. Like that chat GPT 4.5 is being used to train the bigger models. It's just kind of like the foundation or the underlayer of it or whatever, so that they don't have to use as much data for training. Um, And Another clip I'm going to show you here in a minute is going to be all about the education system. And uh, I'll just let Peter Diamandis talk for himself about that concept because I thought it was really interesting, about how, I mean, it is a big adaptation, but like a lot of schools aren't encouraging AI when they need to do just the opposite. But I'm sure when calculators were first invented, teachers were very much against that too. And of course, the child does need to have a basic foundation of how to do these things, like how to do math on paper or how to do basic coding principles, I'm sure are good to know. Um, but at the same time, we need to embrace these new approaches and figure out how to integrate those into the classroom too. Um, and These virtual reality glasses. I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's one that Meta made, which actually a lot of people didn't really like because they were like too heavy and stuff like that. But this whole concept of the VR games and stuff is just pretty incredible. Like how they can totally fool you, even though you totally know it's just a game. And that like there's this one video of this guy who was only like a couple inches off the ground, but yet he was playing this um, VR game, and another guy just barely touched him, and this guy just freaked out because in his game world, like he was standing on the edge of a cliff or whatever it was, so he was just totally panicked. And But just to show you how realistic this kind of stuff is, and like they're using some of these glasses now in prisons, and just for like entertainment purposes and stuff for the prisoners, and how just doing that has brought the number of incidents, quote unquote, down by 97%. Like usually there's a lot of like troublemakers and just fighting and stuff like that, and that was all cut down in the prisons by 97% because these people were so entertained or whatever by their glasses. And of course, the argument can be made like, why are we giving prisoners all this entertainment and stuff? It doesn't really sound like they're being punished, but as we talked about in this free will video with my sister, that was one of the things we touched on, is that prisons, the main goal for them should be the rehabilitation aspect. And if we can make the prisoners more content while they're in prison and make things easier for the guards and everyone else, um, I think that can only be a good thing. And like I thought about the pandemic too, like people that weren't able to go outside, and especially if you just lived in a little apartment with a whole big family in one apartment building, or in one little tiny apartment for all that long of a time, and how much more easily if you had some of these virtual reality glasses, like where you could totally lose yourself in another world. Like if your apartment didn't have many windows, you could just make fake windows with your VR glasses and look out into a peaceful scene, or look out into, like, go anywhere, like go to the jungles of Africa if you wanted to explore that via your glasses and stuff like that. So those are some positive use cases I thought of for that. Um, and so now I'm going to pause this and hopefully try to share my screen and show you those clips to close things out.
Start recording. Toggle button. Off. Midnight/30.
Okay, let me see if we're recording now. Yep. So I'm gonna go to this first video here, which I thought was pretty educational and inspiring, just about different ways to think about how to use AI in the classroom. Okay. Yeah, this is the one I want first. Where's the play button here? There we go.
100 volume level.
And how many of you are told not to use them? So all of them were being told not to use AI in their high school. And here I see Beijing and Estonia saying, no, we're going to make AI a part of the primary education. At least 8 hours of AI primary and secondary students to enroll in at least 8 hours. I assume that's per week of AI during the year. So I think it's insane that our kids are not being properly schooled in how to use AI to up-level the content.
The dominant conversation in education today is an immune system response from all the legacy actors, teachers unions, whatever, saying we should ban AI because you can't perform properly, et cetera, et cetera. I think what's going to happen faster than anybody realizes is a reckoning where if you're not using AI in everything to do with education, you're going to be left behind very fast. And it's going to break the immune system problem we have in education we've had for a very long time, because God help you if you're trying to update academia, right? It's a vicious environment.
I am going tomorrow. We moved our kids to a new school called Qualia, School of Deeper Learning. And tomorrow I'm going to go and spend the entire day at the school working with the kids in the classrooms, and then meeting with the teachers. Then I'm meeting with them again on Friday. And it's really about how do you actually bring AI into the classroom. And the realization I have is, okay, if let's say our kids are in middle school. If you have middle school kids solving typical middle school problems, if they're given AI to solve those middle school problems, and they're trivial, and of course it's like writing becomes trivial, math problems become trivial. But what if instead you gave those middle school kids extremely difficult problems, like come up with a brand new socioeconomic system, or create a program that does this, that, and the other thing, and then you said, okay, you normally don't think you can solve this, can you, on your own? But now here's a bunch of AI tools. Go out there and complete this. I mean, it allows us to up-level the challenges that our kids feel confident pursuing.
So I did an interesting experiment. I did my degree in theoretical physics. In one course on relativity, they had us rebuild Einstein's theories from the bottom up and show the mathematical formalism behind it to understand it better, etc. Right? And it took like the whole year to figure it out. Okay, I went back and looked at that again, and I redid it with Einstein with an AI to say, hey, why is this relevant? Why is this relevant? Why is this relevant? And if I had to redo it again, I figured I could learn the whole thing again in about 3 days rather than a year.
Yeah.
And I think this is the potential that you're pointing to here. It's unbelievable how much quickly we could accelerate our kids.
Agreed.
Okay, so let me pause that.
Pause keyboard short.
Okay, let me make sure I'm still recording now,
2 of 6.
because, yep.
Narrator, Gemini Robotics.
Okay, now this is one with the Gemini robot doing tasks that it had not been trained on. It was just using its reasoning skills and doing this for the first time.
What do you see on the table?
I see some colorful letter tiles on the table.
Now, could you spell me something that could be found in a deck of cards?
Okay, how about the word ace? I can slide the tiles to spell it out.
Can you pack me some trail mix?
Certainly, I have packed the trail mix for you.
Hey, can you pack the orange for me?
Of course, I am putting the orange in the lunch bag.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so there's that one, and now I have one more to show you from the AI search channel with an overview of the some of the stuff that this agentic Manus program can do.
Microsoft Clipchamp. Narrator. Manus is ridiculous.
Here it is.
Manus.
16 by 14 bedroom. Give me 3 designs on how to arrange furniture. Also, give me a list of the furniture I should buy given this budget. No way! So it gives me 3 different designs, and for each one it gives me a unique list of products I should buy with the total budget cost, plus it even has links to the products I should buy. This is ridiculous. Create a simulation of a colony of bacteria evolving. Let's see what that gives us. Holy smokes, it's actually searching the scientific literature for how bacteria should evolve. It's not just coming up with some random simulation. And here's the simulation. Let's press start. That's insane! And look at all these different settings. You can adjust temperature, pH, addition nutrients. It has all these different view modes. Oh my gosh, you can even select each bacterium to view its details. Let's do that. Holy smokes! It has the energy amount, its age, its generation, plus even its genes. Plus here is a chart showing the entire population, including its genetic diversity and average fitness. Absolutely ridiculous. Alright, what about this? Make a financial analysis report on the 5 largest companies on NASDAQ. And here's what we get, complete with interactive graphs. I mean, this is a super comprehensive and detailed financial analyst report. Absolutely incredible. What about create an online course on high school physics? Let's see what that gives us. Holy smokes! Let's click on the first module. So let's click on Start Learning, and here's the first lesson, complete with graphs and visualizations. Let's click on Try Simulation. Let me adjust the sliders here, and then click on Start. This is insane! And then we can also take a knowledge check, which looks like this. This is so thorough. Alright, what about this? Conduct a full SEO audit of my site. No way! Look at all these metrics. Here's a technical SEO analysis, content assessment. It even includes how many backlinks I have to my site, plus my domain authority. Holy smokes! This is the most impressive AI tool I've come across yet. It's called Manus, and this seriously has the potential to disrupt jobs and industries. It's basically an AI agent that can autonomously analyze data, or search the web and synthesize information for you, or it can even code up an entire app for you. Everything it does is super thorough, plus it also checks and verifies everything to ensure that it's correct and working properly. Now, in the
Okay, so that is come on.
Pause keyboard. Play
There we
keyboard
go.
shortcut K.
So that gives you an overview, and with that, I hope you will stay tuned to this channel because we have a lot of exciting things coming up, including an interview in the very near future with Sean Welker of Visualize Access that you won't want to miss. He does visual interpreting and a lot more, and
Scan off. Microsoft.
that's just one of the things that's coming up soon. So be sure to like and subscribe and comment because I always appreciate your feedback, and I will be back soon with another video. See you later.